To end a fiscal sponsorship, there are a couple components to this. While it is definitely easier to end a fiscal sponsorship than dissolve your own 501c3, there are still some process and procedure that you would want to engage in to end a fiscal sponsorship. Number one, notice. You have to provide notice to the fiscal sponsor in writing that you're terminating the fiscal sponsorship. In addition, in that notice, you should include a statement to the extent that there are assets remaining, who is the assignee that will receive the assets as you direct your fiscal sponsor who's being terminated, who is the assignee that is going to receive those assets. And that assignee must also be a 501c3 public charity, and you want to include that particular assignee's letter of determination from the IRS, of which they will give you a copy, stating that it is in fact a 501c3 public charity. So what I'm trying to set up for you is a very clean process that when you notify the fiscal sponsor of termination, that you have checked all the boxes in terms of what the fiscal sponsor needs to be able to terminate and disperse those assets to that particular party. Now, even though you've given notice to terminate, the fiscal sponsor may have additional provisions around termination, okay? And a couple ones that you might see. Point one, and this is for both parties, there should be something called a final accounting presented and approved by both parties. From the inception to the date of termination, there should be an accounting that is provided to you as the fiscal sponsee, of which you review and you ensure that all incoming funds and all outgoing funds are exactly what the parties believe to be the case, and that you have approved in writing of this final statement of activities, if you will, this final accounting, that this is exactly what happened financially. Both parties should be motivated to have this document for the clear reasons of protection for both of them, that they both have approved this final accounting, and it should be signed by both. Okay, that's an important point. The second component is that, as I mentioned, a fiscal sponsor should, at times, it depends, but most of them will require an additional document that you sign that is their own document that they draft, which essentially clarifies the termination, puts in context the assignee or the receiver of these charitable assets, and any other ancillary provisions concerning release language and various things and waivers that ensure that, hey, parties agreed to this release and the relationship is being terminated. So the termination, while it may not take 2 to 6 months like dissolving a 501c3, it could take several weeks for the parties to actually end a fiscal sponsorship. And then upon the signature of these documents or the execution, the fiscal sponsor that's being terminated will transfer the funds by check or wire transfer to the receiving entity. And that's really how you accomplish it.